It was reported also, Mr. Ramsey, that shortly after you found your daughter's body, that you called the pilot of your plane to arrange a flight to Atlanta. Is that true?
For decades, the Ramsey family has suffered unbearable pain and relentless public scrutiny after the tragic death of their 6-year-old daughter, JonBenét Ramsey. Often accused as the prime suspects, they fought fiercely to prove their innocence and find the real killer. Now, after 28 long years of seeking justice through countless challenges, the true identity of JonBenét's killer has finally been uncovered. Will this shocking revelation change everything? Or was the public's suspicion of the Ramseys justified all along? Join us in this video as we uncover the it-all. After 28 years, the true identity of JonBenét Ramsey's killer has been revealed. Over the years, many people have guessed who might have killed JonBenét Ramsey in 1996. The list of people suspected in this very well-known fatal incident case, when the 6-year-old beauty pageant contestant was found dead in the basement of her family's home in Boulder, Colorado on Christmas morning, is long. The list includes her parents, John and Patsy Ramsey, her 9-year-old brother Burke, a man with a troubling past named Gary Oliva, and a former teacher named John Mark Carr, who admitted in 2006 that he killed her but was never charged with her death. But now, after nearly 3 decades, one suspect stands out more than ever to her father, a masked man who broke into the home of a 12-year-old girl in Boulder, Colorado, 9 months after JonBenét was killed. This man harmed the girl, then fled after the child's mother scared him off. To me, it could easily have been the same person, John Ramsay tells people in an exclusive interview. But he adds, the police didn't take it seriously. They just said, no, it's not the same. However, the parents of the girl who died were quickly seen as suspects in their daughter's death, even though she had been strangled and hit on the head, just like JonBenét. John says he is speaking up now to encourage someone to come forward with new information and to push the police to use modern DNA testing and family tree research to finally find JonBenét's killer. While speaking to people, John said he was shocked when he found out that the unknown man had attacked the 12-year-old girl during the night, only 2 miles from the Ramsey home, and that she even went to the same dance studio as JonBenét. I think the way the killer acted was exactly the same, he tells people. I believe the killer was already in the house when we got home and waited for us to fall asleep. In the case of the 12-year-old girl and her family, they came home, turned on the burglar alarm, and the killer was already inside. It was done in almost the same way, but the police ignored it. It was even the same investigator who worked on our case, John says. But even the other girl's father said, on a scale of 1 to 10, I give the police a -5. They just acted with complete ignorance. But yes, I really believe that it could have been the same person. After all this time, what glimmer of hope might at last uncover the true identity of JonBenét's killer? Stay tuned to find out. After 28 years, new hope in JonBenét Ramsey's investigation. For the first time in nearly 30 years, JonBenét Ramsey's father expresses renewed confidence in the leadership now overseeing the investigation into his daughter's 1996 fatal incident. John Ramsay, father of the 6-year-old beauty queen who was tragically killed in their Boulder, Colorado home, met with local law enforcement Monday afternoon to request a thorough review and advanced testing of the crime scene evidence related to his daughter's case. Ramsay told CNN he intends to urge Boulder police to utilize expanded DNA testing to help solve the 28-year-old cold case through genetic genealogy, a cutting-edge technique that has recently solved high-profile cases such as the Golden State Killer. Following the meeting, Ramsay shared with CNN, I'm very satisfied and impressed with the leadership currently in place at the Boulder Police Department. I believe they are fully committed to using the latest technology and resources to identify the killer. That is all anyone can ask for. Ramsey emphasizes his belief that Boulder officials are actively pushing the investigation forward with every available tool, and DNA remains a vital resource that I strongly believe has a high likelihood of revealing the killer's identity. We can confirm that Chief Red Fearn and members of our Operations Division met with the family this week, continuing the department's ongoing communication to provide updates on the case, a Boulder police spokesperson told CNN. Beyond that, we cannot respond to specific questions as this is an active and ongoing homicide investigation. In a forthcoming interview with CNN's John Caceres, scheduled for Tuesday evening, Ramsey discussed his unwavering dedication to solving the case and explained why he champions the use of genetic genealogy. I believe it's the key. I truly think it's the only way this case will ever be solved. The technology exists, and we will insist and plead with the police to make use of it. Not using it would be unjustifiable. This advanced technology was not available in December 1996, when JonBenet's body was discovered in the basement on Christmas morning. Genetic genealogy combines DNA evidence with traditional family tree research to uncover biological relationships. Ramsey revealed he has never been shown any crime scene evidence. For years, naturally, we were considered suspects. We were the prime suspects in the eyes of the police. They made up their minds on day one. In 1999, prosecutors convened a grand jury that returned an indictment charging child abuse resulting in death and being accessories to a crime, but ultimately ruled there was insufficient evidence to charge John and his wife, Patsy, with the taking of their daughter's life. Ramsey has criticized the local police department for what he views as inexperience and reluctance to accept external assistance, especially in the early years of the investigation. However, with recent personnel changes, Ramsey now expresses hope that the department will intensify efforts to solve his daughter's death under new Chief Stephen Red Fearn. He didn't create this problem, but he has the ability to fix it, Ramsey stated. In November, Red Fearn released a statement affirming that his department is actively collaborating with federal, state, and local law enforcement partners on the cold case. Boulder police have sought and regularly worked with multiple agencies nationwide, including the FBI, the Boulder County District Attorney's Office, Colorado's Department of Public Safety, Colorado's Bureau of Investigation, CBI, and several external forensic laboratories. But what truly unfolded on the day JonBenet's life was tragically cut short. Keep watching to find out. The hidden truth of JonBenet's death. On the morning of December 26, 1996, in Boulder, Colorado, Patsy Ramsey reported discovering a ransom note left on the back staircase inside their home. The note demanded money and was about her 6-year-old daughter, JonBenét Ramsey. Alarmed by this, Patsy immediately called the police at 5:52 a.m. to report JonBenet missing. At the time, the only people inside the house were John Ramsey, JonBenet's father, Patsy Ramsey, her mother, and Burke Ramsey, her 9-year-old brother. In a shocking turn of events, less than 8 hours later, JonBenet's body was found, still inside the Ramsey residence. The discovery was made in the basement's utility room by her father, John Ramsay. JonBenet was found with duct tape covering her mouth and a soft cord tied tightly around her neck. It is widely known that the crime scene was severely compromised due to many people coming and going after the police arrived. Police later explained that they had not searched the house immediately after Patsy's call because, based on the ransom note, there was no clear reason to believe JonBenet was still inside the home at the time. JonBenet was a well-known child beauty queen, having won at least 5 major pageant titles. Her tragic death was officially ruled a homicide. JonBenet's body was discovered just minutes after the police arrived at the scene. Later that same morning, around 10 a.m., Mr. Ramsey took another look around the basement by himself. He confirmed seeing the same broken window, which was slightly open, and observed the suitcase under it. Although the suitcase belonged to the family, he mentioned it wasn't usually stored in that spot. A forensic team was sent to the Ramsey home by the police. Initially, believing it was a kidnapping, they only sealed off JonBenet's bedroom to preserve evidence and did not secure the rest of the house. Detective Linda R. from Boulder arrived around 8:00 a.m., expecting instructions or communication from the kidnapper, but no ransom demands were ever made. From the very beginning, the preservation of the crime scene was poorly managed. Friends, relatives, and clergy were allowed to move freely throughout the house, inadvertently disturbing crucial evidence. Activities such as cleaning the kitchen, preparing food, and answering phone calls interfered with maintaining a proper environment for evidence collection. Initial evidence-gathering efforts were limited. The only secured item was the ransom note. Photographs were taken of JonBenet's bedroom, and the notepad linked to the ransom note was recovered. Burke, the Ramseys' 9-year-old son, was initially reported to be asleep during the unfolding events, but was later interviewed by authorities. His behavior puzzled investigators, who struggled to determine whether his apparent emotional detachment was a coping mechanism or something more concerning. Additionally, the Ramsey family showed a general reluctance to be interviewed separately, which further complicated the investigation. Looking at the crime scene and the evidence collected, let's dive deeper into what the autopsy revealed. What the autopsy revealed about JonBenét Ramsey's death. The autopsy revealed that JonBenet died as a result of strangulation and a severe blow to the head. The official cause of death was recorded as asphyxia due to strangulation, associated with a significant head injury. Although there was no definite evidence of a typical mistreatment, medical professionals couldn't fully rule it out. While no male biological fluid was detected, there were signs of injury to her private area. It was also suggested that the paintbrush used in the strangling may have been involved in causing the injury. During the autopsy, the medical examiner observed that her private area appeared to have been wiped clean with a cloth. Her death was officially classified as a homicide. A makeshift device, crafted from a length of nylon cord and the broken handle of a paintbrush, was tightly wrapped around JonBenet's neck and appeared to have been the tool used to choke her. One part of the brush, the bristle end, was found in a container with Patsy's art materials, but the lower third of the paintbrush was never discovered, even after police conducted thorough searches of the house in the days that followed. The autopsy also showed undigested food in her stomach that appeared to be fruit or vegetables, possibly pineapple, suggesting she had eaten it shortly before her death. On the day her body was found, photos of the house revealed a bowl of pineapple with a spoon sitting on the kitchen table. However, both John and Patsy claimed they didn't remember placing the bowl there or feeding JonBenet that night. Investigators later reported that Patsy Ramsey's fingerprints were found on the bowl. In December 2003, investigators were able to gather enough material from a mix of blood found on JonBenet's underwear to build a DNA profile. The profile matched an unknown male, and it did not match anyone in the Ramsey family. This DNA was entered into the FBI's Combined DNA Index system, which includes more than 1.6 million profiles, but no match was found. Then, in October 2016, new testing using more advanced methods revealed that the original DNA sample actually contained genetic material from 2 different individuals, not including JonBenet. A. James Kohler, a lead investigator for the district attorney's office, said that more male DNA was also found on both the cord and the paintbrush, evidence that Boulder District Attorney Mary Lacey never publicly addressed. Collar explained that in total, 6 separate DNA samples from unknown individuals were identified during testing. Former FBI profiler Candice DeLong believes that the consistent appearance of the same DNA in multiple locations strongly suggests it belonged to the person responsible. Bob Grant, a former district attorney who supported the Boulder investigation for many years, also stressed the importance of the DNA findings. He said that any future resolution of the case must account for how the DNA appeared on various pieces of JonBenet's clothing. Forensic pathologist Michael Baden offered a different perspective, saying that tiny amounts of DNA can end up on clothing and other surfaces in harmless ways. He added that there is no concrete forensic proof confirming the involvement of a stranger in the crime. Examining the evidence gathered from the crime scene, was there a particular clue that led the police and public to form a list of possible suspects? Stay tuned to find out. The mysterious ransom note from the JonBenét Ramsey case. The 2.5-page ransom note addressed to John Ramsay became one of the most critical pieces of evidence in the still unsolved fatal incident of JonBenét Ramsey. This chilling letter laid out demands and threats that shaped the early investigation and raised many questions about the case. The note read, "Listen carefully. We are a group of people from a small foreign faction. We respect your business, but not the country it serves. Right now, we have your daughter with us. She is safe and unharmed, and if you want her to live into 1997, you must follow our instructions exactly. You will take out $118,000 from your bank account. $100,000 should be in 100 bills dollars, and the rest, $18,000, in 20 bills dollars. Make sure you bring a large enough briefcase to the bank. When you get home, put the money in a brown paper bag. I will call you between 8 and 10 a.m. tomorrow to tell you how to deliver it. The delivery will be tiring, so I suggest you get some rest. If we see you get the money early, we might call you earlier to arrange an earlier delivery and an earlier pickup of your daughter. If you don't follow my instructions exactly, your daughter will be killed immediately. You will also not get her body to bury properly. The 2 men watching your daughter do not like you, so don't upset them. If you talk to anyone about your situation, like the police or the FBI, your daughter will be beheaded. If you talk to a stray dog, she dies. If you tell the bank, she dies. If the money is marked or altered in any way, she dies. You will be checked for electronic devices, and if any are found, she dies. You can try to trick us, but we know police tricks. You have a 99% chance of killing your daughter if you try to be smart. Follow our instructions, and you have a 100% chance of getting her back. You and your family are being watched constantly, as well as the police. Don't try to be smart, John. You are not the only rich person around, so don't think killing will be easy. Don't underestimate us, John. Use your good common sense. It is up to you now, John." Retired Boulder police detective Jeff Kithcart revealed in the episode, "While going through the notebook that had Patsy's handwriting, I found a full sheet of paper still attached. It appeared to be the first draft of the ransom note. It started with Mr. and maybe the first stroke of an R. I was shocked to discover that. It seemed the ransom note was written in the Ramsey household notebook." Later, FBI agent Ron Walker explained in a 2006 interview how the ransom note was unusual compared to typical kidnappings. "It's very rare to see such a long note," Walker said. "Most ransom notes are short and to the point." He added, "The $118,000 amount is strange. Normally, ransom demands are round numbers like 200,000, 300,000, 250,000, a million, or $500,000. but not $118,000. Because of these oddities, Walker concluded the note seemed fake. It was not a genuine kidnapping ransom note. Who could have been placed on the police's list of suspects? And is it possible that her family members, despite being victims themselves, were also considered suspects? Keep watching to find out. Everyone was a suspect. The JonBenét Ramsey case. From the very beginning, police focused their investigation on the people inside the house. JonBenét's parents, John and Patsy Ramsey, and her 9-year-old brother, Burke. Initially, the Boulder police concentrated mainly on John and Patsy, suspecting that Patsy may have written the ransom note found at the scene, which demanded $118,000. For years, public attention shifted heavily toward Burke. Online theories suggested that he might have gotten into a fight with his sister over some pineapple she ate and accidentally hurt or even killed her. According to these theories, John and Patsy then covered up for their son by staging the scene to look like a home invasion. However, these theories fail to account for the DNA of an unknown male found on JonBenét's clothing. Within 2 weeks of the tragic incidents, forensic evidence pointed to the presence of another person during the crime. It wasn't until July 2008, nearly 12 years after JonBenét's death, that the Boulder District Attorney's Office officially declared that no members of the Ramsey family were considered suspects. Sadly, this declaration came too late for Patsy Ramsey, who had passed away in 2006 from ovarian cancer. While some questioned the public clearing of the Ramseys, Boulder police told the Post that they are no longer actively investigating the family. In 2002, John Mark Carr began reaching out to an investigative journalist, revealing details about the case that were not publicly known. By 2006, journalist Michael Tracy had contacted law enforcement authorities. With Tracy's assistance, Carr was located in Bangkok, where he was hiding to avoid unrelated child pornography charges in the United States. He was extradited to Boulder and arrested. Carr confessed to taking the life of JonBenet, but the case against him quickly unraveled. His DNA did not match samples from the crime scene. Additionally, his estranged wife provided an alibi, stating he was in North Carolina when JonBenet was killed. Despite Carr's release, doubt lingered. The FBI questioned whether he had been freed too soon. To me, he's still the one who might have gotten away, a Boulder police source told the Post. Something about him still seems suspicious. In 2023, Carr spoke publicly, insisting he was neither crazy nor lying, and reiterated his claim that he was with JonBenet when she died. He also suggested he might be protecting someone. "I know the truth," he said, "but no one will listen." Another figure of interest was Oliva, a convicted sex offender living in Boulder at the time of the tragedy. He was deeply obsessed with the case and even attended a candlelight vigil held after JonBenet's death. Oliva, who was homeless and drifting at the time, kept pictures of JonBenet in his tent. He was frequently seen near the Ramsey neighborhood and openly told police he was fascinated by the case. Oliva's strange behavior drew the attention of the Ramsey family. John Ramsey told authorities, "Oliva must be the killer." Yet this theory had serious flaws. No physical evidence linked Oliva to the crime, and his DNA did not match any found at the scene. As a result, he was cleared as a suspect. Oliva served 8 years in prison on child exploitation charges and was released earlier this year. He openly acknowledged his obsession with JonBenet. In an interview featured in Cold Case: Who Killed JonBenét Ramsey, he said, "When you see the footage of her in her little cowboy outfit saying, 'I want to be a cowboy's sweetheart,' I've never seen anything like it." Another man connected to the case was Helgoth, an electrician in the area. He owned a pair of boots that appeared to match a footprint found at the crime scene. He also possessed a stun gun, and investigators noted that JonBenet's injuries showed marks consistent with such a device. Helgoth had a possible motive. He was involved in a property dispute with the Ramseys at the time. A private investigator hired by the Ramseys hinted that law enforcement should focus more on Helgoth. The mystery deepened in 1997 when authorities announced they were closing in on a suspect. However, 2 days later, Helgoth died by taking his own life, leading many to believe he took his own life because charges were imminent. Still, police told the Post that Helgoth was never considered a serious suspect, and his DNA did not match any found at the crime scene. Beyond the tragedy and intense public scrutiny, how has this devastating event affected the Ramsey family, particularly JonBenet's younger brother, who was just a child at the time? Keep watching to find out. Burke Ramsey's life after the tragedy. A brother's pain that never fades. The death of JonBenét Ramsey and the investigation that continues to this day has deeply affected her older brother, Burke Ramsey. He has chosen to remain silent about his sister and the tragic case that changed their family forever. Burke doesn't talk about the case, not ever. He doesn't speak about JonBenet at all. It's simply not something that comes up in conversation within the family, and he never mentions her on his own, a close Ramsey family insider told Us Weekly, just ahead of the release of Netflix's Cold Case, Who Killed JonBenét Ramsey, which aired on Monday, November 24th. The source recalled how even hearing JonBenet's name once caused young Burke to become visibly shaken. When he was little, just hearing her name made him upset. It was too painful, and he didn't know how to handle all the emotions. And by the time he reached high school, he was fully aware of the rumors and gossip swirling around him. He avoids all coverage about the case. He won't read articles, won't watch any TV specials. If something comes on unexpectedly, he changes the channel immediately. He has absolutely no interest in any of the documentaries, the insider explained, and there's no chance he'll be watching the Netflix one. It brings back too much pain, and for him, there's no point in revisiting something that still haunts him. Burke was just 9 years old when his 6-year-old sister was discovered dead in the basement of their Boulder, Colorado home. Over time, the Boulder police looked into numerous suspects. At one point, even JonBenet's parents, Patsy and John Ramsay, were named persons of interest. In 1999, a grand jury voted to indict them, but the Boulder district attorney chose not to sign the indictment, citing a lack of solid evidence. Then, in 2008, new DNA testing revealed the presence of an unknown male's DNA on JonBenet's body, and the Ramseys were formally cleared. 3 years after JonBenet's tragic death, both the police and the Boulder district attorney finally announced that Burke Ramsey was not a suspect. Still, theories and speculation about his involvement have never fully gone about, especially in online communities. Burke had an incredibly painful and lonely childhood, the source said. The family worked hard to protect him, but how can you shield a child from the trauma of losing his sister, especially when people believed his own family, or even himself, might be responsible? The insider added that the Ramseys were deeply frustrated by how long it took for police to publicly clear Burke's name. He spent key years of his childhood under suspicion, even though the police already had DNA evidence proving it wasn't him. But they didn't share that information with the public, the family member explained. What the Boulder police did to John and Patsy was shameful. But what they did to Burke, that was truly unforgivable. They played a role in shattering a young boy's life. Burke has only broken his silence once in 2016 during a lengthy, emotional interview with Dr. Phil. That same year, he filed a $750 million defamation lawsuit against CBS, After their series The Case of Implied, he was responsible for JonBenet's death. The case was settled privately in 2019. Since then, Burke has remained out of the public eye, though he did release a statement regarding the new Netflix documentary. Due to the way he has been treated by the media and online theorists, Burke Ramsey declined to participate in an interview, read a closing message in Cold Case, Who Killed JonBenét Ramsey? According to the family source, Burke has stayed close to his family over the years. He sees his dad John from time to time, and they talk about everyday life, the insider shared. But when it comes to JonBenet, that topic is completely off limits. If anyone brings her up, he completely shuts down. That's something he simply refuses to revisit, ever. Before the tragedy, what was JonBenét Ramsey's life really like? Stay tuned to find out. JonBenét Ramsey's childhood and pageants. JonBenet Patricia Ramsey was born on August 6, 1990, in Atlanta, Georgia. She grew up in a warm and loving family before tragedy struck. Her parents, JonBenét Ramsey and Patricia Patsy Ramsey, gave her a unique name by combining her father's first and middle names. The family spent the first 9 months of JonBenet's life in Atlanta before relocating to Boulder, Colorado. John Ramsey was a successful businessman, while Patsy had a background as a beauty queen. This family environment played a key role in JonBenet's early introduction to child beauty pageants. The Ramseys lived in a spacious brick home in Boulder, where their children enjoyed a comfortable and nurturing upbringing. JonBenet began her education at High Peaks Elementary School in Boulder, attending kindergarten and quickly becoming known as a bright and friendly student. Alongside her schooling, JonBenet took dance classes and participated in beauty pageants. These activities helped her develop new skills and build friendships from a young age. Over time, JonBenet competed in numerous child beauty pageants, winning several awards and gaining recognition in the pageant community. Her involvement sparked discussions about the appropriateness of such contests for young children. From a very young age, JonBenet entered many beauty contests, earning titles like Little Miss Colorado, National Tiny Miss Beauty, and Colorado State All-Star Kids Cover Girl. She also captured crowns in events such as Little Miss Charlevoix, Michigan, Little Miss Christmas, and America's Royal Miss. In these competitions, she frequently showcased her talents in singing and dancing. JonBenet's natural stage presence, combined with her polished and confident performances, contributed greatly to her success in these pageants. How do you feel about the recent breakthrough in the JonBenet case after 28 years? Do you think this will finally bring justice and peace to her family? Let us know in the comments section below. Thank you for watching this video. We hope you found it interesting. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Click the next video shown on your screen to catch up on your favorite celebrity stories. See you there.